Great meeting with Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and the whole Republican leadership group. And I'll tell you what, we walked out of there, Mitch and Paul and everybody, Kevin, and we walked out and everybody was happy. Not too happy, because you can never be too happy, but they were happy enough.
Well, his book was The Art of the Deal. Today, he came up with a big one. To the chagrin of some Republican leaders in Congress, President Trump went over the head of Republican colleagues and struck a deal with the Democrats that starts with funding for Hurricane Harvey victims. Correspondent Peter Ducey is on Capitol Hill tonight.
Today was a good day in a generally very partisan town.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is saying that because Democrats got what they wanted today, when President Trump agreed with Schumer and House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi to attach short 3-month debt limit and government funding measures to a Harvey relief.
This is something that was going to inevitably happen. The debt ceiling was going to increase. The Republicans don't have enough guts to not do it. The Democrats want to do it. Trump doesn't want to be bogged down with that battle while we've got 2 hurricanes going on, and really more important things like true tax reform, getting Obamacare repealed and replaced, and all the other things that should be on the agenda. So this was good politics. It gives Trump an opportunity to say, I'm not the guy that just blocks everything. And he also knows this, Kat. He's dealing with a bunch of incompetent Republicans who were so completely impotent that a year's supply of political Viagra would not make them capable of getting something done.
Well, it was clear to me, but I think it's clear to everyone now that basically he's been carrying water, you know, for the Clinton folks, Obama, everybody. The whole thing was a farce. I mean, as soon as you know there's no grand jury, as soon as you know you can't compel testimony, you can't get records, you know, you can't take computers for searching, you can't do any of that stuff. It's a farce.
But 33,000 deleted subpoenaed emails, acid wash, bleach pit, destruction of information on BlackBerries and iPhones. Why do I think that I'd be calling you if I did any one of these things? Because I'd be in jail for obstructing justice and violating the law.
Yeah, well, because James Comey had a predetermined outcome of where this was going. He said that in the information that Senators Grassley and Senator Graham said very clearly, that the information they were already writing up their exoneration, their declination letter, as it's called, regarding criminality. This was before 16 witnesses are interviewed and before the target of the matter, as James Comey was told to call it, was even interviewed. So what James said was right. This was a faux investigation from the start. And the problem is, it's really been a fraud on the American people here. I think James Comey needs to be the subject of what's an investigation as to what's going on here. I mean, look at the evidence. I mean, this information is damaging, to say the least. It puts the whole investigation, or whatever you want to call what was going on there, really a sideshow is what it ended up being. It puts the whole matter, as they like to call it, into perspective. It was never intended to be an investigation in the first place, and exactly. James Comey was part of that.
Yeah. You know, Comey, you know, this whole business of this so-called phony Russian investigation, you know, that's all to sidetrack the president, so he can't have his appointments. He can't deal with anything else. It's all Comey, you know, playing Act 2 of a farce. Mueller should never be the special counsel. He's got a conflict of interest a mile wide. He and Comey are buddies. I mean, it's just preposterous that the Deputy Attorney General, number one, appointed a special counsel. Number two, appointed Mueller, of all people. I mean, it's just outrageous.
I think the Department of Justice needs to find out about and do the right appropriate investigation with the grand jury as to the leaking of a conversation that James Comey had with the President of the United States. I would start with that and then work backwards to the fact that he predetermined the outcome of the other investigation or so-called investigation. But let's start with where this leak started, a leak from the President of the United States. A statement that James Comey had with the President of the United States, he leaked to a friend of his to leak to the press. That's inexcusable and should be investigated.
Well, it's flooding down in Texas. On Tuesday, the media had reaction to President Trump's visit to Texas.
He's not somebody who's going to hold a weeping mother in his arms or anything like that. He didn't roll up his sleeves and get in the mud.
Reporters heard no mention of the dead, dying, or displaced Texans, and no expression of sympathy for them. The president didn't meet a single storm victim, see an inch of rain, or get near a flooded street. He spent far more time in the air than on the ground.
But here is what Trump really said.
We love you. You are special. This has been a total cooperative effort. Again, it's epic what happened. But you know what? It happened in Texas, and Texas can handle anything.
Remembering back 12 years ago and what President George W. Bush said about Hurricane Katrina.
That poverty has roots in a history of racial discrimination, which cut off generations from the opportunity of America. So let us restore all that we have cherished from yesterday, and let us rise above the legacy of inequality. And this great city will rise again.
Here is what the media said.
If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. They've given them permission to go down and shoot us. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Certainly appears to me to be a mass act of genocide and an ethnic cleansing.
Barack Obama never asked for a dime to rebuild the homes that were lost, the people of the city of New Orleans. Yes, he rebuilt the homes of all the movie stars in West Hampton, but not a single home in the city of New Orleans.
And where can you find more news stories just like this?
This is CNN, the most trusted name in news.
You're watching CNN? What the hell?
This is KNN, Korean News Network.
Breaking news. We take you to speech from Kim Jong-un. We have interpreter for you American.
On Monday, I launched 4 glorious missiles into the Sea of Japan. The international media accused me of doing this to test Trump's resolve. In truth, I did it because I am mad at him. It is well known that the Crazy Dictator Act is kind of my thing. The flying off the handle, living off my father's wealth and name, ridiculous hair. That's pure What do I have to do to get attention? He writes one tweet and everybody talks about it. I kill my half-brother with nerve agent and it barely gets any play. I am at a loss. Before Trump. So happy and carefree. Now I am just a heavy-set shell of a man.
What's happening, hot stuff?
Stupid! You're so stupid!
What do you know from funny, you